Hi guys. Wow, all kinds of things going on since we've last...
Yes.
First of all, I've got to say, the Oroville Dam, Oroville, California. Now this seems to be a very big deal. I've been reading what Jim Stone has been uploading to his site as intel, people email him with what's going on. And he's just really concerned. He is speculating that the slipway that has failed, it's got a massive hole in it. He suspects that it was actually blown up. And
wasn't there witnesses to it?
Well, yes, when it did blow, like the hole became apparent, there were chunks of flying concrete and all kinds of things that happened at the same instant. So, but anyway, all that aside, it does seem to be a very big deal, and what he is concerned about is that there hasn't been any kind of reaction from a national level. It is a federal project, if you like, that has to be looked after at the federal level. Now, from what he says, the state of California itself, which seems to have gone rogue in their desire to break away from the union, etc., and he calls them full of communists, and California has been suffering this man-made drought and the emptying of reservoirs and lakes and things over the years, that with the current rain and storms they've been having, which is great, desperately needed, what he's recognising, this is a disaster just waiting to happen, and there doesn't seem to be any reaction, apart from some engineers looking at it yesterday, but there doesn't seem to be any reaction at the national level. And what he is speculating again is that this has been deliberate, it's all planned, and of course if it does break and the destruction and people in your way...
This thing is over 700 feet high.
Yes. And
it's a rock-filled dam. The worst thing you can do is build a rock-filled dam. Like Hoover Dam's all concrete. But when it goes, all the rocks just wash away because they become boulders running down through the water, and they smash houses and so forth as well. Plus, if people aren't wanting to get out of there right now, within a week, there's a very strong possibility they'll be all dead. So if you have people that you know in the area, tell them.
Yes. Right? So just please find out what's going on, whatever.
Yeah, there's another dam as well. It's also similarly going to break. So we'll upload a link to that.
I'll put the link to the Jim Stone report in this, but he does seem to be keeping informed. It's coming in, and he is updating as new information comes in. But he's getting very concerned that there has been no national attention to what's going on. So the bottom line is, does the White House even know about what's going on? Because he's reiterating that the state of California is saying everything's okay.
Yeah, well, they're all communists.
But yes, yeah, that's the concern.
What are communists? Jews.
They call themselves Jews and are not, but the synagogue of Satan.
So if California has a disaster like that and they blame the federal government, then it's another one against Trump. And that's what they're trying to do, hit him with everything they've got.
Yes. And now, of course, the travel ban is ridiculous. Again, the judges seem to have gone rogue on that. The Ninth Circuit judges, the three of them, have once again overturned it. All tactics coming against Trump to make America safe again, most certainly.
Well, all Trump's got to do really is go to the very many added men and women to the border crossing and say, don't let them in. It's as simple as that.
Well, we're talking about flights on aircraft
coming
into the country.
Turn them around.
Well, yes.
Right, send the soldiers out, turn them around. Right, or take them straight to FEMA camps. There's a good one. You've got lots of those.
Those FEMA camps to good use.
Put them in the FEMA camps.
Train them all.
Give them all pork to eat. Now these aren't Christians coming in from these Muslim worlds or Arab worlds. It's all Muslims. And that, of course, goes back to the prophecy that this was going to occur. And we're talking about the Freemason
Albert Pike.
who predicted this in the late 1800s and predicted World War I, World War II and World War III, and the World War III is the Muslim invasion into all Western nations. Now, you've got to get it around your head that when the First Amendment of freedom of religion was thought up, they wasn't considering Muslims, they wasn't considering Jews. The difference there was the Catholics and the Protestants. Right? That's what it was talking about. So it doesn't mean that you can go over there and create any terrible religion that's against the American people. And that's what you've got to realise. The First Amendment really has to be adjusted, but keep the Muslims and Jews out. So that's the first thing that you've got to be aware of. Until you have a program where you can educate the Muslims to obey what Muhammad said, and we've gone through that with the letter to St. Catherine's and the letter to Nugus and the other
kings. What has become apparent during the week is that General Flynn, Michael Flynn, has been saying that the entire education system, children need to be educated all about Islam from the word go.
Look, you can talk about your education system, but you've got the parents and associations that you should be all getting there and going door to door. You Americans are really quite dumb. I'm quite surprised. So you've got a big problem there, and you've got to stop these Muslims coming into your country unless they are properly, what they say, vetted, and they can't be. You're coming from nations where they don't have any records of what people are, and even if they are, they're all corrupt.
Well, I mean, all that being said, the American people are waking up to this. It's not them allowing it's not them allowing it to happen. It's in the judiciary. Like who was it that said the swamp monster is in the judiciary?
Right. Well,
they are the communists that are allowing this. These are the ones that call themselves Jews and are not Jews but are the synagogue of Satan. They have perpetrated. It all goes back to 1492. So
now, why does it go back to 1492? Well, I'll tell you why. That ever since day one of Christianity, and going back before that, because it's all prophesied to occur, that the Jews, that Jesus comes along and says they aren't Jews at all, right? They are actually Idumeans that took on the religion of Judaism out of Babylon, right? Should never have taken it on. It's got nothing to do with them. We're talking about the white race only, and it's not to offend Chinamen or any other race out there. The battle is that the Jews are trying to kill all the white race, because it's the white race is where Jesus came from, and all of the patriarchs are the white race, right? This comes down to Seth. So when they call themselves anti-Semitic, well, that word Semite is from the Greek, and it's Shem. So what the so-called Jews are calling themselves, that they have adopted themselves as being the chosen people, the Shemite. Right? We're the Shemite. They bullshitted you with your Bible and so forth, and controlling all media, and everything goes right back in time. So when 1490, was it 1492?
1492, Constantinople.
When
the reconvened Sanhedrin.
When the Spanish kingdom had had a gutful of the sacrificing of children and the usury and the filthiness of these Jews, they kicked them all out. Now, it was about 35 years later that this, what's his name, Iota?
No, not worth one to Loyola. Ignatius Loyola.
He was a soldier of the Jews, and he started the Jesuits. Now, the Jesuits then infiltrated into the Catholic Church real quick, because they were told by the Prince of Constantinople, which himself, Constantinople was a Christian city, it was invaded by the Jews and took it over. So the Prince of Constantinople said, you raise your children up to become all these doctors
church
and
leaders, doctors,
pharmacists and so forth, politicians, royalty, to go and infiltrate into the nations and kill off the whites. To kill the whites, that's what it's all about. Now, read your history, it's there, and they're doing it.
Well, the point is that the right, okay, there has been this massive division with, it is the separation of the wheat and the tares. So you've got the tares growing up, these are all what's known as, your liberal lefts, because they are the one calling for the Islamization of white America. And these are Jews that are doing it, the elephant in the room. Now the rest, the alt-right, which are the white nationalists, are totally awake. And they are the ones carrying on the fight and the alerting people what's going on. And this is Trump's battle. It's the judiciary. This is the swamp monster that has been proven.
And they're there forever until they die. Well, we better
hurry
that along.
These are the Ninth Circuit Court. Now it's got to go to the Supreme Court, where
takes time.
Gorsuch has just been nominated. His confirmation will go through. When will it go through? Because that gives the balance then 5-4. You know, you're sane, logical people versus the 4 implants who are Jews.
Now, all you crazy Christians out there are supporting these animals that call themselves Jews and are not. Jesus 8:44 of the devil.
John 8:44.
And these people, even if you trace their blood back, and they were, let's say they were of the time of Christ, they are Idumeans, right? They're not the tribe of Judah.
Israel,
the tribe of Judah is royalty. You're looking at it. I'm it.
One, Israel. He is it.
I'm Israel. Jacob became Israel. We know that because it's in the Bible, right?
And Israel is a Nazarite.
And Israel is a Nazarite. And the Nazarites are the Essenes, which are the Shemites, which is of Shem, which is of Noah, which goes back to Seth. And that is why the average age of all of the patriarchs down to Noah was 912 years. And just so happens I was 9 pound 12 when I was born, and all of their names add up in Hebrew to 3168, which is Lord Jesus Christ, which is my house in bloody Melbourne. That's the latitude of it. Around the earth, 31680. So look, I'll make a deal with you. Before you go running off like a chicken without your head on, ask us first. I'll tell you the truth. I always do. Even if it gets me into trouble.
Right.
I still always tell the truth. So I'm going to tell a bit of truth. It puts me in your ears now. I even tell the truth. Well, it's all right to lie to a woman. That's different.
Listen, you don't get away with it. Listen.
Like a dog with a bone. Oh.
Anyway, all right, let's move right along. Let's move off this topic. You know, the world is very aware of what's going on.
Okay, let's say President Trump admires Ronald Reagan. Ronald Reagan, they've got photographs of him at the Bohemian Grove.
Yes.
They're Satanists, right? Another one that's trying to get on to the bandwagon is Alec Jones. I've already exposed Alec Jones when he said he went in, snuck in to the Bohemian Grove. Well, unfortunately, during his sneaking in, there was a 3-day period when the moon changed its shape. So I identified that he was in there for 3 years being entertained, and this is all set up for him to become what he is. He's a drunk and he's a Jew. Hello. And every night at 12 o'clock he prays to Jesus, the children, oh the poor children, he says. What a lying bastard he is. Now, our people have been telling Alec Jones, in particular a lady in Toronto, a very good friend of ours, she's been at him for years. For years. Not once that he's...
Except when he was married to the Jew, she apparently, we were told, was our biggest trouble.
Right.
And then Alex would start quoting things that came out of work only.
I go and say something and he'll go and repeat it. Right?
If the
complete and utter
Oroville dam seems to be an emergency that nobody talking about. If they're yapping away and they've got millions following them and they're making a living out of what it is.
I'm amazed that you Americans would allow the Bush family. Now, if you go to the older Bush, he was the one in 1990 signed into law with all these Jews standing around and saying hip hip hooray, the Noahide laws, which is if you worship Jesus, you are legally, you can be beheaded.
So then there's a photographic opportunity during the week with Mike Pence and his wife, with Barbara Bush, the daughter of Alastair Crowley, and Old Man Bush, who is surely 2 or 3 nights away from death. That's how bad he's looking. And he's the dude that signed into law the Noahide laws.
Well, a good cup of children's blood will fix you up, Mr. Bush.
All right, so anything else to be said in this little...
Well, just look at the Bush administration of young Bush. They were all Jews. How is this possible that a Christian nation, can be bullshitted into allowing this monster that is the grandson of Aleister Crowley, the supposed most evil man on earth, that ate children and all these blood sacrifices?
But he said, George Bush proclaimed that he was a born-again Christian.
Born into the eating of children Christianity.
Yes, totally. Right. All right, now, born again means to return, resurrection of the soul. It is reincarnation. Now, I did note, I did note that on this forum where it was asked if Donald Trump was a born-again Christian, and the response came back, he is Christian, full stop. That's it. Hello? To be born again. Yah is born again. He is the resurrection. He is the first one. Everybody else has been born into the period of time called the resurrection.
I find it quite marvellous how Donald Trump, with his first wife, he charges off with he did the wrong thing. He had an affair with another wife. He ended up marrying her. But the first wife found out. And of course that's where shit hit the fan. But the point is, in her legal work,
her charge against him
was he would lay in bed at night reading books and listening to speeches of Adolf Hitler.
Adolf Hitler's speeches.
Why? Well, the 100-day period that he announced after the inauguration of 20th of January 2017, you add 100 days, that gives you Adolf Hitler's birthday, the 30th of April. Hello. Did he work it out? Doesn't matter whether he did it or not.
The first 100 days.
He is going to be 26,888 days old. And I'm 2.42 years older than Trump. Right? Now, he might not be aware of all this. He might be just ignoring me as some crazy kook in Australia. It doesn't matter. It's got nothing to do with it. His whole life is dedicated to this because it's been arranged for him, and he has no choice in the matter. Right? So, he may as well get the finger out of his ass and get onto it and go over and see Pope Benedict and ask him what's going on. Because the latest thing is that the Obama and the Democrats, of course, all Jewish, they were interfering with the election of Francis, and therefore they forced the old man, who was a German, hello, Trump should like that, to retire. Now, he retired, he announced his retirement, ended up going out. It was exactly 84 years to the day after the forming of the Vatican. So he had 7 kings in that period of time and 7 popes. So in Revelation 17:11, it talks about how the 7 kings, one is going to leave, the only one left alive, right? So he retires. That beheads the beast, which is the Vatican, which is the Jews, which is all of the world's domination by the Catholic Church. So therefore, we've got a headless beast. Now it is then revived. How come? Well, we get a man coming in who is not a sacerdotal pope. You've got to be a sacerdotal priest before you can become a pope.
It's a sacerdotal monarch.
He is nothing. He's not even a priest. So therefore he ends up as being the pope. Now, he is the one that is, of course, going to be out of there. Right? He's going to flee. Now, it then says that one of the 7 will come back, which I promised the Pope. I said, you're still a Pope. You can't retire.
It actually says the 8th of the 7th.
The 8th is of the 7th. Look at Revelation 17:11.
It's 8th of the 7th. So
it's in one of our other the next one we're
It's the next one. It's going up. So we're just giving you a little taste of what's coming, because it's the reading of the open letter that's been written to President Trump by this very concerned traditional Catholics. They are very aware that Francis...
Which we contacted, and of course has been ignored.
That Francis is going along with the New World Order, which is the Jew World Order and the Islamization of all of Europe and America. So, the whole world is in turmoil, yes, and it's for
I'd like to say a little bit about the Quran
only. And it's this guy, no matter what they're saying to you, everything is designed...
In the Quran, Jesus as a boy supposedly took some clay and made a little bird shape, and then the bird flew away. You say, what a load of crap that is. Let me enlighten you. The subconscious of Jesus was the Holy Ghost, God the Father. That's why Jesus did all these wonderful things. He was prompted to by the subconscious, who is the Father and I are one, as you might know. So therefore, if God can create the entire universe, can he cause a piece of clay, as Adam was, taking a piece of clay and breathed into its nostril, and it became a living being? Surely he could create a bloody sparrow.
Easy.
It's not that hard of a little. So, my subconscious, of course, was and is the same. That's why when I was a little boy, I could argue to the point with my brother that Einstein was wrong with his theory of relativity at the age of 2. Right? That's God talking. I don't have the subconscious. That's the whole bloody point. So I was the subconscious of Jesus, and now I'm here as Christ. That's the Trinity.
And his total consciousness. God does not have a subconscious. Hello. And a few who have the smarts to understand it get it. All right, a few. So, anything else?
No?
Oh, I'll come back at some point to read a testimony to confirm one that we read 2 weeks ago. Of course, the moron church.
Oh, yes.
The oxymoron.
We have these lovely people that were, well, there's 13 children in the family.
14.
14, was it?
Yes, 10 girls. The girls and boys, 14 total there were. So.
And they were witness to one of the sisters that was going to be sacrificed on the altar just after a baby had its heart cut out.
Yeah.
And she was screaming, and the older sisters heard her and ran down where the screams were coming from, was under the Mormon temple, and they got her out of there. They burst in and got her out of there, and they tried to shoot them as they were running away. And then a fellow who was later to become president of the Mormon church, he said to them, who was shooting at them, leave them alone, they've had enough.
So that's confirmation. You remember that incredible testament. Well, this is more, because it is one of the sisters who backs up the earlier testimony, and she has a lot more to tell.
Very eloquent.
Yeah, well, and
Talented.
So I'll come back with that, because this needs to be heard. Not naming names, but you will recognise the pattern here. And yeah, I'll have something to drink first before I come back with that, because, you know, I mean sparkling water. All right, later, Gators. And yeah, just keep up with what's going on in Oroville, and let us know.
You've got to let these people know what's going on, because if this dam goes, thousands will die.
All right, bye.